Hello students. Alright, so here's the first guided notes of your geometry career. Alright, so before we get started, geometry is going to be different than last year's math class. You were in Algebra 1. Algebra is a lot of setting up equations, solving for x, a lot of that stuff. Geometry is more shapes, manipulation of shapes, logic, reason. Still math, but it's a very different math class from last year. All right, so what is geometry? Geometry is the visual study of shapes, size, patterns, and positions that have apparently occurred in all cultures through these 5 standard strands of human activities. So buildings and structures, houses, laying out a garden, so architecture and engineering basically, machines, motions, crowbar, bicycles, saws, swing, navigating, stargazing, how do I get from here to there, art, patterns, so design, representation, perspectives, counting and measurement, how large is it. So as you can see, there's a lot of aspects in life that involve geometry, and in my opinion at times this is very applicable to real world. I know some of the other math you learn, although it's good to learn, it's not necessarily something you're going to be doing in your everyday life. This is something that you will be. All right, so and then many mathematicians think all geometry developed from these activities in various cultures around the world. So there's actually a variety of geometries. We're learning the most basic geometries. What we typically call it is Euclidean geometry. And this is Euclidean right here. All right, we'll give them some sunglasses, make them look cool, sweet. All right. Now, he was an ancient Greek mathematician, lived 300 BC, so unfortunately, that was a couple thousand years ago. Unfortunately, he's no longer with us, so RIP Euclid, we love you. He wrote 13 books about geometry, and he called them the elements. And what's interesting is that all the iBooks we're going to be working through and stuff we're learning was written in the elements. So a book that was written thousands of years ago is stuff we're still learning today. It's the second most printed book next to the Bible. Abraham Lincoln read the elements. You might have heard of Abraham Lincoln. He was president of the United States. Hopefully your history teacher taught you that. He read it to develop his logic and reasoning skills when learning to become a lawyer. So not only does geometry deal with math, but it sharpens your thinking ability, which is just a great life skill to have. And we're actually going to do units where all we do is use logic and reason. And we're going to become really good thinkers. And he said that one was not educated if they did not know or understand Euclid's the elements. So the first unit in geometry might shock you. It's unit 1. And we call it the essentials of geometry. All right, so when we're going to be learning this stuff in a void independently, this stuff might not seem that important, but it's really the building blocks of geometry. So we're learning this stuff now, so we're going to use it later on just about in every unit. So think of like a single Lego piece. All right, with this single Lego piece, or this one right here, you can't really do much. But you can't build creation. You can't build a spaceship or a building without a single block. Or nails and screws. When you're doing construction, if you just give me a nail or a screw, I can't do anything with that. But without the nails and screws, the bolts, the nuts, all that stuff, you can't build the house. You can't build the building. And then it's like the blueprint. We're laying the foundations. All right? So that's a little intro. Now in the next video, we're actually going to start to define points, lines, planes, a bunch of fun stuff. All right? So make sure you download the next video and watch these notes.